1, 2, 3, 4. Pop, pop, pop. All right, we rolling? Yeah, this is Freedom Phil. Like, subscribe. What's the topic? This slow march towards insanity, brought to you by On Hold Robot. Bullshit. I called up the U.S. Postal Service. I just wanted to ask him a simple question. And do you think I could get that answered? No. Yeah, where am I going with this? Freedom Phil, like and subscribe, and always turn up the video speed. Why do I always say that? Because you can watch videos faster. That's why the channel's called Turn Up the Video Speed. Because that's what you should do. Anyhow, let's get into this. I'm kind of patient with technology for the most part. I understand it's working its way up. But it gets you into a loop question that it just can't answer. And it's a question that you could have answered in under 15 seconds. You know, between saying good morning and hi would take up a little bit of time, and then answering the simple question, how long will this post office box hold a package if I order from Amazon? You know, because I only like to come in on certain days into the city. You know, to go occasionally pick up more water, shopping, whatnot. So I have to time it just right. Because I also know there's going to be a holiday in the near future. Now, how long would it take for them to answer the question, the exact number of days? And the answer would be, you know, some people say 15, 10 to 15, other people say 30. It'd take all of a few seconds, and then we'd be on with our fucking day. If the robot could have answered this, which I did try, then it would have answered the question. And people go, why don't you just Google it? I did. But, you know, I want to hear it from the horse's mouth at the local post office that I happen to be near, because maybe there's a difference between state to state. I don't know. And it's this like cyclone of fucking bullshit that I have to deal with when it comes to these automated responses. And this is part of the reason when people talk about, I don't know, maybe we got the leftover Cold War version of it. Maybe that's what we got for the answering robot. The secretary robot. We got the leftover Ruski Cold War version. But if this is what you're replacing humans with, and by the way, part of the reason they can give you such bad service when it comes to, you know, robot call type of stuff, where you call up and you have a simple question, it's because in the case of the post office, there's really only so many options. In fact, there's almost no options. It's almost as bad as the cell phone companies. What we got, we got Google, Android, and we got Microsoft. And some people are kinky and install Linux. You really don't have a lot of options. And the fewer options you have, the shittier the service gets. That's why, you know, it's kind of like when I was doing the remodel on my house up north. The industries that were closed systems, the plumbers, the electricians, the HVAC guys, oh, they were all fucking prima donnas. You want to talk about some people that wanted to get shit done? The insulation company. They knew there was a bunch of other people with an insulation truck. In fact, the guy over at the local hardware store had an insulation machine. And if I felt like, you know, he'd say, yeah, you can use it for free. Use the machine for free if you buy the insulation from us. Just saying. You know, drywall people, oh, they're ready to work right then and there. And there's a lot of framers, but less than there used to be. It seems like the industries that have competition have better customer service. Isn't that the damnedest thing? But these closed industries where the attitude is, and by the way, this is what it is. It's like unpaid labor. You suffering on the other end of that call, what should be a 15-second answer or less, turns into 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes of the same robotic loop of, I don't understand. Please reinstate the question. I don't understand. And you're like, can you get me to a customer service rep? Maybe I can have to answer the question. And then it goes through some other robotic shit that has nothing to fucking do with what you're asking. You think of a dozen different ways to try to ask the question. And the robot, no understand. And I understand that a lot of people say, oh, AI in the tech future. Man, if this whole AI thing, I'm not saying it won't eventually be a thing, but if this whole AI thing goes belly up, like, the .com bubble back in the day where everybody's like, AI brother, .com. We got our .com. It's just a buzzword. I'm going to laugh my fucking ass off. This is supposed to be, the rise of the machines now, huh? These clankers got a long ways to go. Long fucking ways to go. But anything to save a dollar. Anything to save a fucking dollar. And by the way, you want to know something kind of funny? When I do a lot of like auto insurance, and actually, here's another one. Let me give you an example. When I paid my phone bill for the next year, prepaid it. It was a seamless process. I didn't even have to deal with a human. Now, why is it when someone's got a lot of competition and they're trying to get my money? Why is it when they're trying to get my money and there's a lot of competition, everything functions as it should? And if it doesn't work quite right, they immediately get me to a customer service rep. Because they know if they piss the people off enough, they'll say, fuck it, I'll pay a few bucks more to have the convenience of just shit getting done. Because they recognize, in this case, your time is your money, but your money could be someone else's money if they piss off their customers. Auto insurance is the same thing. When the robot can't answer it, they don't waste any time getting you. They'll say, it might take a few minutes, and ba-bing, ba-boom. They've got somebody there to sell you auto insurance. Funny how that works, because there's a lot of competition. This is no slam against the good people that work at the post office. It's not. It's not intended to be that, because I'm not mad at the people. I'm mad at the administrators that basically, and our system forces you to kind of have these boxes. Where it's like, if you're an outlander, a nomad like myself, you basically have a situation where the only reason you have a box is for official bullshit. Like you'd like to get some documents for tax reasons, or you'd like to get your particular, like in particular, when you're paying your taxes. Of course, you can pay all of that online, but it's still nice to have some paper. Paper trail. Hell, you want to set up a post office box, you better have a paper trail. That's a fucking nightmare as well. But the one thing that would get on my nerves is that, for instance, up at the Northern Command, in the frozen land of Fembria, I get a free post office box because the town gets so much snow during the winter that they're just like, no, we're not delivering. There's just one central post office at the in town, and everybody in the local greater area just comes into town to, do their shopping, pick up what they need at the supply stores, and they pick up the post office. The post office, and I get it, it's your business. It's your job to get people to send mail. So you put a bunch of junk mail in my box. As I've gone more paperless with more things, there's less actual mail and nothing but spam and junk mail. Now, we could somehow get a spam blocker, virus blocker, time saver, really, for our computers, for our cell phones, for everything. But yeah, with the physical that we're kind of forced to deal with, we still have to receive this garbage mail. Maybe that's also why right next to the post, where you get your box, there's a recycle bin. Okay, not interested in that, not interested in that, not interested in that. Like, how much paper, how many fucking trees done pissed away to put out leaflets about crap you were never going to buy? And look, I get it. Just like Hustle and Change, Bum and Change, or some chick on OnlyFools, showing her booty hole and getting paid for it. I respect the hustle. But just for calculations, how many trees were pissed away to produce junk mail last year? It's like the joke of toilet paper. Once you get used to using a backwoods bidet or a bidet in general, you just kind of laugh like bleach cloth and bidet. You look at how many trees were mowed down in the greater Canadian boreal forest so we could clog our pipes. And is not junk mail the clogging of our pipes? You come back after X amount of months and the post office guy's kind of pissed. And he's like, well, shit, why don't you change your mailbox? I mean, last time I was down here, they wouldn't get me a box. Well, you got to, they didn't tell me, well, all you got to do is show some proof of where you own property. I'm like, well, I don't own property down here. I'm just living in the wasteland. I didn't know, and they could have said this at the fucking post office, that I just have to prove I live somewhere. Fair enough. I own 3 different pieces of property. Easy enough. So I get back, and the guy at the Northern Command, he's pissed. He's like, what the fuck, man? Don't you have a family member to do this? No. Like, I didn't answer my mail for 6 months. And I could tell you my life was just fucking fine. I came back and there was a few notifications from local government or something. It wasn't anything crucial. But yeah, man. I hate the robot service when the robot service isn't there. It's like it's there not to serve you. And it's just like this late 90s dial-up level of technology, stolen from the former Soviet bloc level of robot secretary. And you're just trying to ask a simple question that if you had a human, a meat bag, versus this useless clanker, you could have it answered in under 15 seconds. Now, the only reason this shit continues to go on is because they know that you don't have any other options. You got UPS, you got a few private mailing services, but you got just a few options. It's just like the major companies on cell phones. Why do they keep on shittifying your phones? Because they know you're not going to go anywhere. Like, maybe you'll be hardcore and switch your phone over and your computer over to Linux if you know how to do it. But they can bet that the vast majority of people are just, no matter how many updates, how many things fuck up your computer or your cell phone, they know you're just going to come back. And how many government systems, managerial tyranny systems, are exactly like that? They know you don't have an option, so they know they don't have to improve it. In fact, if it's more profitable for them to make it worse and waste your life and your time, that's just better for business. Anyhow, that's kind of a little rant there. This is Freedom Phil. You all take it easy and have a good day.